everybody. My name is Ellen Frost. I'm the owner of Local Color Flowers. We're a floral design studio located in Baltimore, Maryland. We source all of our flowers locally, so everything we use come from within 100 miles of Baltimore. So we use a lot of the kinds of flowers that home gardeners grow, that small flower farmers grow. So today we're going to talk a little bit about color palettes and how to create color palettes in floral design. So one of my easiest tricks in terms of choosing colors is to use something called the 60-30-10 method. So 60% one main color, 30% an accent color, 10% a little pop. And so this is a really easy way, especially if you grow flowers and you feel overwhelmed, or you're like me, you just like to throw all the flowers together and it's like one of this, one of this, one of this. This is going to elevate your design so that it feels a little more thought out, a little more cohesive. So I'm going to start with my 60%. So today that's going to be yellow because these flowers are all from Lisa and she grew a ton of beautiful yellow flowers. So let me start with these. First I'm going to use, if you went on the tour you might have seen, this is the white swan. This is a favorite marigold because the color, a lot of people don't like marigolds because they're so bright, they're so loud. These are much less, more subdued. They also don't have any scent. So a lot of people sort of struggle with the scent of marigolds. And it's actually not the marigold, it's the foliage that has the scent. So I'm going to start with some of these light yellows. And I'm just cleaning my stems so that there's no leaves in the vase. And then next I'm going to use, let me see if I have any more of those. Next, I'm going to use a little bit of this Rudbeckia. So this, if you went on the tour, this is the Chimney. This is a great Rudbeckia because it has really cool quilled petals. So they're called spoon petals, and they're a little bit different than a lot of the flat petals that you see. So I'm going to use some of these, and I'm breaking them down so that they're all single stems. I don't want to have any branchy stems in my design because if I put something in branchy and then I put something in between it, I like to take things apart because sometimes they don't look right. And if I try to pull this out, it pulls everything with it. So I like to keep everything as nice single stems that are nice and clean. So I'm going just around in a circle in my vase. I don't have any mechanic, so I'm not using floral foam. I'm not using any chicken wire for this one. I'm just letting the flowers be the mechanic for me. And I'm really leaning into that dominant color of yellow. Another thing that you can do is use different shades of yellow. So this lighter, this darker, that's also going to add interest to your design. And then I'm going to put in a little bit of this zinnia.
I didn't know how to vary the heights.
Yeah, good question. For an arrangement like this, where I'm not using foliage, usually I would use foliage, but I'm trying to keep this in a yellow, orange, pink palette. So if I use foliage, like say I added this green foliage, and I'm trying to go with 60% yellow, 30% pink, and a little pop of orange. If I add green, even though we think of green as neutral, green is a color. And this changes how this arrangement's going to look. It's not now going to feel bright and energetic. It's going to feel a little more natural, a little more gardeny, a little more green. So I'm keeping the green out right now. So in terms of how do I figure out my height, first thing, proportion-wise, I'm thinking that the height of my arrangement should be no more than 1.5 times the height of the vase. That's the rule. Of course, you can break the rules, but we like, at least in the beginning, to understand the rule. So 1.5 times the height is your maximum height. The other thing I like to think about is that because we're designing from the top down, I can see the flowers here, But when you're looking at it eye level at the table, you're looking at it here. So in terms of varying the heights, I want to have some that look nice up here, and I want some that look nice along the edge for people sitting looking at it straight on. Does that make sense?
You're kind of doing middle right now.
Yep.
Okay, then you'll go up
And then I'll go, exactly right. Yeah, and please feel free to ask questions. I'm happy to answer any questions as I go. Now I've got a nice, I can always add in a little bit, but I've got a nice base of yellow. So this is my most dominant color. This is going to be the color that if you squint and look at this design, I want it to feel yellow. So now I'm going to add 30% of pink. And I'm going to start with this Sweet William. And I'm going to use, Sweet William is like a filler flower, right? So it's not the flower that's like the most fancy, the most beautiful. It's going to be in the background. So when I tuck these in, these are going to be shorter because this is like the background. So I want my yellow to be the focus, and pink is going to be a background color, at least for the Sweet William. Because Sweet William, if I made the Sweet William like this tall, then your eye is going to be drawn to that. And for me, I want this to be background. So some other pinks I might pop up taller, and I'll show you which ones I'm going to use for that. All right, so I've got a little bit of this pink in the background. And now I'm going to use a little bit of this straw flower. That I can pop up. These are way cuter, right? I mean, Sweet William's great, but these are really eye-catching. These I can make a little bit longer. And also because they're small, I don't want them to get lost in the middle. I want them to stay upright. And you can see that they also are great because they have that same yellow in the center. So really playing with this pink-yellow combination. Now you might be thinking, this bright pink and this bright yellow, it's a little much. It's a little too contrasting for some people's liking. See, I'm with you. One thing you can do is you can use what we call a bridge flower. So let me take this. This is I think it's Wowie Zowie. I think Lisa sells these seeds. So Wowie Zowie on its own feels like Wowie Zowie, just like its name. But if you look carefully at this flower, it has both of these colors in it. It's got that pink and it's got that yellow. And it's got that little splash of orange that I'm looking for my 10%. So this is a great flower that I can use in here to combine, sort of bridge that bright pink and that bright yellow. It's kind of making the transition for your eye so that it's not so contrasting. So I'm going to use a couple of these in my design. And you can see how it really ties those colors together. Where you might see this and be like, I don't know if this works. Somebody just said, oh, I see the picture of that flower all the time and I didn't really know how to use it, or I didn't know what to do with it. But using it as a bridge flower, letting this be your palette and really using it, that's a great way, especially if you're just like learning about color for the first time or feeling overwhelmed. I host this online community called Flower More, and in our community every month we do a monthly flower design challenge. So all of our members make an arrangement based on the theme, and then we talk about the designs at the end of the month. We did a design challenge that was this exact challenge, which was take a flower, look very closely at it, look at all of the colors in that one bloom, create a palette with that from that one flower, and then make an arrangement with all those colors. So it's a way to like not overthink color. It's just letting the flower guide you. We don't all have to be experts at everything, growing, designing, color, all the things. Let the flowers sort of guide us in that way. So right now I feel like it's mostly yellow. It needs a little bit more pink to, I think, feel like that 30% pink. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this kind of fuchsia-y pink in here. And then I've got my Wowie Zowie zinnias. Does anybody have any questions? Either about our design or...
Do you still grow flowers, or did you kind of like that wasn't my jam?
Growing flowers was not my jam.
I realized that when I got to the farm.
So here's what I'll tell you about my flower growing journey. I never grew up with flowers. I was not a person who had a garden growing up. I grew up in Buffalo, New York. It's a urban city. I moved to San Francisco, and then I moved to Baltimore. And I had never been to a farm. And when I moved into my house, I had a little backyard, and somebody, Eric's aunt, actually sent us a bag of tulips as a wedding gift. And I put them in the ground, and in the spring they came up, and I was like, I am a gardener. I have succeeded in gardening. And it really inspired me. Right, I mean, flowers are magic, right? Like, they really make you feel like, oh yeah, I can do this. So I took the master gardening course. I became a master gardener, and then I started working on a farm, growing flowers and vegetables. And I knew pretty early, 2 years into farming, that while I loved flowers and I loved the farmers and I loved being outside, I knew that farming was not the right fit for me, like for work. Like, I didn't really like to be hot or cold or wet or dirty. So it just wasn't a good fit for me. But what I knew that I loved was the flowers and the connection to the farmers and the connection to the farms. And so I thought, well, isn't there a way for me to keep working in flowers but not grow them myself? And that was when I started doing design and really started figuring out a way to bridge the gap between flower farmers in our community and consumers, specifically brides, that wanted local flowers, but never those two groups ever met. Flower farmers and brides never crossed paths in my world. So I thought I could be a bridge between them. I didn't have to grow the flowers, but I could connect the farmer to the customer. And so ever since then, I have just been a purchaser and designer of flowers. I have a little garden myself. My soil sucks. It's totally shady. It's overgrown with weeds. But I still love flowers. All right, any other questions? I think that's about right. If anybody's interested, we publish a weekly newsletter. It comes out every Thursday. There's sign-up sheets here. And if you want to sign up, we'll do a little raffle. We have a couple books that we're giving away at the end of the day today. We also host an online community. Like I said, if you're interested, I can tell you more about that. Pam is one of our members. We had a couple more members that came through this morning. It's a lot of fun. It's for gardeners, flower farmers, hobby designers, people that are just dipping their toe in business. So yeah, if you're interested, let me know. And if you want to sign up for the newsletter, and in a minute we'll just pick a name to win one of these books. Thanks, everybody.